So, do you have any doubt till the last class? So, till the last class, we have completed our 2 units of object-oriented programming. In today's class, we are going to start at the next unit. If you have seen your syllabus, let me show you the syllabus. This is your syllabus of object-oriented programming. In today's class, or from today's class, we are starting the new unit, or unit third, we can say. In the unit 3, there is this much concept we are going to discuss. We start from operator overloading. From this operator overloading, we will discuss the fundamental of operator overloading, restrictions on operator functions as a class member versus a friend function, overloading string functions, binary operators, and converting between types. So this is the syllabus of your unit third. So let's start our unit third. If you do not have any doubt, we can start. So start with overloading in C++. There is several overloadings in C++. So what is the meaning of overloading? If we create two or more member having the same name, but different arguments, okay, in these members we have different numbers and type of arguments in is known as overloading. Means overloading there is member functions and maybe a constructor or other operator have, have the same name but different number of parameters or argument or types of arguments. So we have three kind of overloading: method overloading or function overloading, constructor overloading, and index properties. We can overload index property as well. So we have divided this overloading into two parts. The types of overloadings are function overloading and operator overloading. In function overloading, we overload function, and operator overloading, we overload operator. In function means function overloading, we have a function. This name is just consider function, and it's a list of argument. Okay. So in this function overloading, the name of function, two or more than two function has the same name, but the difference is that the list of argument. Maybe it has one argument, two argument, or many arguments, or types of argument is different. So we are differentiating our function with its argument. Okay. So we start our first overloading, which is function overloading. In C++, the function overloading you can define as function overloading is defined as the process of having two or more function with the same name. Means the name of function has the same, but the difference is there's a parameter is known as function overloading. In the function overloading, the function is referred by using either different types of argument or different number of types of argument or different. Let me explain. Suppose we have a function. We have three function. Fun1, fun1, function1, function1, function1. Just consider the name of function is fun1. We have three function. The name of function is same, but the difference is, just consider it has only one argument, and consider it has two argument, int a, int b, and it has one argument, char c. So these three function have the same name. As you can see, fun1, fun1, fun1. But difference is that it has different argument. Here it's only one argument. Here it's two argument. Here is also one argument. So As you can see, there's a two function with this one argument, but difference is that it tracks integer as input, but in this third function it takes characters as input. So we can easily differentiate which function we are calling. Okay, so we have the name of function is same, but the uh, arguments, number of arguments or type of arguments is different, so we can easily differentiate which function we are calling. Is it clear? So what is the advantage of function overloading? The function overloading is that the increase the readability of your program. We can easily understand our program because you don't need to, we are not using different name. As you can see, there's three function with the same name, so we can easily understand the what is going to function is doing, what the operation we have defined under this function one. Okay, so this point is I think this point is clear. Function overloading, if we in simple word need to define, is the name of function is same, but argument or list of argument is different to differentiate the functions. Okay, so see the example, it will more clear what is the meaning of function overloading. Here, as you can see, we have a program include header file, and then we declared a class cal in public area. We have declared a method name is add. The method name is add, and it takes two input, int a and int b. And as you can see, there is a one more method. The name is add. Method name is same, add and add, but difference is that here it is taking three inputs, int a, int b, and c. So we can easily differentiate which method or which function we are calling. So ultimately, the meaning of this, we have the name is same, but we are differentiating the function with the list of argument. Okay. So let's explain this code. What is code is defined here. We have declared one method add, and it's taking two inputs and adding two inputs what we have passed and returning. Here is also is taking three inputs or adding all three inputs and returning. The main method we have declared one object C, object now C, class cal, and here in this code we are calling a function C add. This object is calling method add 10 and 20. So which function it will execute, where the inputs are two integer number. So as you can see, in this method there is two inputs of integer type. So this method will execute because we have called c dot add 10 and 20. So as you can see, there is a two integer value. And this function has two integer values. So this method will execute and it will add value of a and b and return. Okay. Suppose we have passed three inputs, add 10, 20, 30. So it will check which function has the three inputs. This function, so this function will execute what the we have defined under this function will execute. Okay. Suppose you pass add 10, 20, 30, and 40. Then which function will call? Which function will execute? There's a function we have defined for two inputs. We have defined function for three inputs, but we haven't defined a function for four inputs. So it will produce an error. We are calling a function which is not exist. Okay. Suppose you are writing add and you are not passing anything. It's blank. So which function will call? There is no function without inputs. So nothing will execute. It will produce error. It will give you error because we have not defined a function without any inputs. Okay. Let's run this code and see. Let's write a code. Root IO stream connew attach using namespace standard class. Just give it the name test. The class test. We create one function fun. Sorry, the public area. Okay, we create a class void fun. Here we are not giving any input to this function, and it will produce when this function will call. Nothing has passed. आपने कुछ भी नहीं दिया इसको. Nothing has passed. The next method we are returning int fun int a return a. When this function will call, it will return the value what you have passed. Then we have defined int fun int a int b int c. What it will return is just sum of these three numbers. Return a plus b plus c. Suppose again you defined one more function with the same name int fun int a int b. Okay. Then this function will return a plus b. We start our main method in main where we will create a object type test t. Let's consider t. My object name is t. In this t, I call a method add, and I'm passing two parameters 10 and 20. Let's z equals to this. Let's print z. See out. Simply print z. Right. Okay. That's ch. Return 0. Okay. Let's execute. It's yeah, okay, sorry, the function name is fun. Now you can see the result 30. We have passed two inputs 10 and 20. It is just sum of giving me the answer z value is 30. Suppose I passed three inputs. So which function will execute where we have defined three inputs. We have defined a function for three inputs. This function will execute. In the previous case, this function executed. Okay. Let's again compile and run. And see the value of z. Yes, you can see now the result is 60. 10, 20 plus 30, we will get the result 60. Suppose we have not passed anything. We have just write t dot fun. We will call the function fun without passing any inputs. So which function will call? This function We have no input that we have mentioned. So let's compile and run this code. Void. Okay. Let's execute. We will print nothing is passed. Yes, nothing is passed because you have not passed any inputs. So you can see the name of function is same. The fun without any inputs, fun with one inputs, fun with three inputs, fun with two inputs. We are defining more than one function with the same name but different argument or types of argument. So this concept is called function overloading. Let's back to our PPT. So now you can understand the definition. The function overloading is defined as the process of having two or more functions with the same name but different in parameters. This is known as function overloading in C++. How we can different the arguments by its number of arguments or by its number types of argument. Okay, the same code. Let's back to our code. Now let's write. We have created one function with two parameter. Now again create the same function with two parameter, but I'm just writing float. Now you can see we have two functions with the same name, fun and fun, and number of parameters is also same, 2 and 2, but difference is that here two integer parameter, but here one parameter is integer and another parameter is float. Okay, now let's run this code. Fun 10 and 20, I can see the same case 10 and 20. Which function will call? This function where both the parameters are integer. Let's execute this code and see the result. As you can see, the result is 30. Now change the passing value. I'm just passing here 20.50. Now again I'm passing two inputs, but difference is that the types of input is different now. Again run this code. Again I have to set this is 4. Yes. So we have to let go. Let's write the one. See. Now you can see the result. The result is 30.5 because we have added two numbers of different type. Okay. So this is the ultimately the meaning of function overloading. The function name is same and the list of parameters is different. Okay. Let's see our next overloading, which is operator overloading. The next overloading is operator overloading. Before we start the operator overloading, let's see some operator overloading. In the function overloading, we have seen the name of function is same. Means we have the more than one function with the same name, but the difference is the list of argument or types of argument. In the next, we are discussing about the operator overloading. Before operator overloading, what is the meaning of operator? What is operator? Anybody? If you know the meaning of operator, please unmute your mic and speak. What is operator?
It is used to operate something with and or plus minus.
Yes, good, good. Ultimately, the operator is designed for performing the particular operation on operands. Okay, so we have two things: operator and operands. So operator is designed for performing the particular operation on operands. Okay, like add or plus. Plus is a operator which is designed for addition of two numbers. Okay, so there is an operands are numbers and operator is plus. Or subtract. Subtract is also a operation, also a operator which is designed for performing the subtract operation on numbers. Okay, as the same way you can define as trace or sorry, multiplication or division operator. This operator is designed for performing particular operation on operands. Operands may be operator may be unary or binary. Unary means only one, there is an only one operand. So plus 5 is telling the number 5 is positive number. Suppose I just I write minus 5 means it's a unary operator minus, which is saying the value of 5 is negative. Okay, so the magnitude of 5 is negative. Okay, so this is the binary operation where you have only one operands. These are the operands and this is the operator. When we have two operator, we call them binary operator. Just see 5 plus 4. Here we have two operands 5 and 4, and its operation is so this operator we call binary operator because we have two operands like 8 minus 3. This operator is binary operator because it has two operands, and these operands or operator, this operator is defined for particular operation on these numbers. These are the numbers. Means what we have the fixed is these are the numbers. We cannot write a plus b. A, just consider a and b are the two characters. We cannot add characters. Okay, is it clear? So these are the numbers which is predefined. The meaning of 5 is predefined. Meaning of 4 is also predefined. The meaning of 8 is predefined. Means it's these numbers, these numbers has predefined predefined meaning. Okay, means these numbers are predefined data type. The type of data is defined. Means this operator will work on these predefined data types. Okay, you can even write 1.5 plus 3.8. These are also the number, but the type is float. Means the type of these operands are predefined. It's a float data type. Okay. So the ultimately of operator is we have a predefined data type. This operator work only on predefined data type. These all operators are designed to perform on predefined data types. And this operator is a symbol to perform the particular operation. Plus operation here also is a symbol used for addition. Means the meaning of this operator is also predefined. Subtract has the one predefined meaning. It means sorry, this minus sign is a symbol which is used for subtracting two numbers. Okay, means the meaning of this operator is also predefined. We cannot change the meaning. Plus we cannot change the plus will do multiplication or multiplication to subtraction. Means the meaning of this symbol is also a predefined, and this operator is worked on the predefined data types. Is it clear? But in our object oriented programming, what we have objects. Object 1, object 2. Objects are not a predefined data types. As you know, in the first or second class we have discussed, object and class is a user defined, is a user defined data type. Okay. Now we have objects, multiple objects. Type of object is class. Okay, so this class is user defined. How we can perform the operation on these object which is not predefined? Suppose I want to add these two objects. Can I add these of two objects? No, because the definition of this operator plus is it works on predefined operands. But here we have two operands, object one and object two, which is not predefined. It is user defined. So how we can perform this operation? So, so the solution or the purpose when we apply this operation on object is so the solution of this objects operation is done by operator overloading. Means using operator overloading concepts, we can perform the operations on user defined data types. Again, I am repeating, using this operator overloading concepts, we can perform the operation on user defined data types. But previously we can perform the operation on predefined. Here, using this concept operator overloading, we can done the operation over user defined data type as well. What are the user defined data type? Structure is user defined data type. So using operator overloading concept, we can perform the operation on structure as well. Class is a user defined data type. So using this operator overloading concept, we can apply the perform the operation on our class and object as well. So now using the concept of operator overloading, we can add two objects. Okay, this operator can add these two objects, or even we can compare these two objects, or even we can multiply two objects. Means now your operator is work on your object as well. It's user defined data type as well. So let's go back to our PPT. Operator overloading. Again, I'm writing one more definition about operator overloading. You can define as operator overloading is the process of using an operator instead of a function to do a particular operation. So again, I'm just repeating what is the meaning of operator overloading. Operator overloading is the process using an operator we use operator instead of function to do a particular operation. Before this, we have used functions to do a particular operation. Like we want to add two numbers, we use function. Suppose we want to multiply two numbers, we use function. But it is the replacement of function. We can also do this operation using operator overloading. So operator overloading, as you can read here, operator overloading is the compile time polymorphism. When we read the polymorphism, then it will go clear. It's a compile time polymorphism in which the operator is overloaded to provide the special meaning to user-defined data type. Now this user-defined data type get the special meaning using this operator overloading. Operator overloading is used to overload or redefine most of the operator available in C++. What the operator available in C++ we can redefine or use. It is used to perform the operation on, again read this line, it is used to perform the operation on user-defined data types. The ultimately meaning of operator overloading is how we can perform the operation on user-defined data type. For example, C++ provide the ability to add two variables of user data type that is applied to built-in data type. What are the data type we can use in C++? There is some advantages of operator overloading. See what are the advantages. This the advantages of operator overloading is to perform the different operations on the same operands. But we have some restriction. We cannot overload these much operators available in C++. We cannot overload scope operator. We cannot overload this size of operator. We cannot overload this dot operands or the select and member selection operators. We cannot overload this pointer selection operator and this ternary operator conditional operator. These five operators we cannot overload. The remaining operator, all the operator we can overload using this overloading concepts. So see the syntax. Before we see the syntax, that see ultimately the concept of overloading is to replace the function. Okay. So what is the concept of function? Sorry, syntax of function. For the syntax of function, we first write the return type of your function. Then we write the function name. Then list of argument be passed. Then you write the your body and return type, the return value. What the value? This is the simple syntax of function. In the function, there is a return type, function name, list of argument, and curly braces. In the curly braces, we write the body of your function and what the function you return. You just mention it at the last of your function, and curly braces is closed. What is the syntax of function operator overloading? The operator overloading, the return type is the same. There is no need to change. Instead of function name, we will write the word keyword operator. We will write operator, then followed by which operator we are overloading. Suppose we are overloading plus operator, so then we will write plus, and the remaining syntax is the same. The operator overloading syntax, the remaining syntax is the same. For the operator overloading, we write the return type keyword operator instead of the function name. Then we will write the operator symbols which we are going to overload. Then the same list of arguments, curly braces, body of your operator overloading, and the return type. This ultimately the ultimate syntax is the same. Now see the syntax. This is the your syntax of operator overloading. Return type, we write the return type. Then class name and this scope operator we will mention if you are defining this outside your class. If it is inside, there is no need to write this class name followed by this scope operator. If you are defining your operator overloading outside from your class, then only we need to write this thing. Otherwise there is no need to write this thing. Okay, then your operator keyword is operator, then your operands, oh sorry, operator, which operator you use, so we are overloading plus, then you write plus argument list, curly braces close, and the value of your function. The syntax is very simple. Where the return type is the type of value returned by the function, class name is the name of class, just mentioning what is going on this. Then operator op is the operator function where op is the operand being overloaded and the operator is the keyword we are going to use. Before we see these key points, let's write a program for operator overloading. Let's write a code for operator overloading. First, include your header files. Create a class, name just give test. In the test class, I am creating one data name just given a. If not mentioning anything before it, just consider it as a private. Then in the public area, I'm writing a method get. It is just I'm using for reading the value from user. From reading the user, the object is seen a. When this function will call, it will read the value from user, value of a. Then just first I'm writing this code to compare two objects. This code is to compare two objects. So here I'm just first see the compare of two objects using a function. Firstly, we are creating a program to comparing objects using function. So write a function compare and its text input test t. T is an object of type test class. Okay. Here it will compare if value of a equals to the value of calling object a, then it will return the value cout objects are equal. If the value of a which is calling is equals to the value which is called is same, then it will reply you both objects are equal. Else, if not the equal, you will print values objects are not same. Objects are not equal. This is the simple function is doing. It is comparing two values and returning according to the or printing the message according to the compare. Okay, if it is same, then it will printing they are the same. Otherwise, it's not same. Write a main method. In the main method, create two object type test. Test T1 is one object, T2 is two object. Means here we have created two object T1 and T2. Now initialize the objects. Cout, print a message, enter T1 object's value. Okay. This message it will print, and when this message it will user will enter the value. So how we can read the value using this function get. So what we will write t1 it reading the value using function get. So this function will execute and it will ask you for enter the value of a. The next line you write cout enter object t2 value. Then which function you want to we should execute value get. Now it will again read the value from user for object t2. We have get the value from user t1 and t2. Now we need to compare these two values. T1 is calling object and which function we call compare, and what is the parameter it is asking. As you can see here we have passed the test means the parameter is type class. So we are comparing t2 objects of t2. Okay. Now this code will execute and it will compare the values. If they are equal, then this message will print objects are equal. Otherwise, this message will print. Okay. Let's complete this code using get ch function and return 0. Let's compile this code first. Save. Let's see if there's no any error. So now it's asking me enter the value of object t1. Suppose I just done my object t1 value is 45. Now it is asking me to enter the value of object t2. Just as consider the value of object t2 is 30. Now you can see the object t1 is not equals to object t2. We have two object t1 and t2 both have the different value. Now see the result. It will print both objects are not equal. Okay. Now see the case where when your objects are equal. Just consider the value of first object is 20 and second object is also 20. Now you can see objects are equal. Okay. So we have compared two objects with a function. In this program we have seen or compared two objects with a function. But what is the ultimately goal of R is to operator overloading. We want to overload a operator. Okay. So the time is only 5 minutes is remaining, so I'm just closing this meeting and again I'm restarting the meeting. So join the same meeting at the same time. Okay, do not wait. Okay, I'm closing this meeting right now and again starting the meeting because the time is over. So please rejoin the meeting.